Okay.
And hi! Whew! Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And today we are going to be doing the UFC 282 post-fight breakdown. Now, this UFC main card was headlined by Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. Sheldon, let's go straight into these fights.
Well, first off, man, the first thing we're going to talk about is our homeboy, Dricus. Dricus du Plessis, or as some of the Americans know him, Dricus du Plessis, had a big fight, a big fight. This was the fight to put him on the map against Darren Tilll. And he just, it was a terrifying fight because it went back and forth, but my man, it was great. So Dricus won. He beat Darren Till, third round submission. As far as the fight went, first round was perfect for Dricus. Everything went his way. Darren made a slip up in like the first 15 seconds, and he had him against the cage straight away, just landing shot after shot in the face. And so first round went to him. A lot of people saying it's easy 10-8 round. DC was saying it could be 10-9. And so yeah, great first round, but the big problem was he looked like he gassed. Definitely looked like he put himself in a bad spot, and second round you could see it.
After that very dominant first round against Darren Till started to bring it back in the second, and we thought like maybe he could have gotten a potential finish, but then something happened to Darren Till's knee, and we don't know if that was an injury. After the fight, he did say to Bruce Buffer that he thinks that he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Straight into that third round as it began, Dricus just said, no, this is my fight, this is my time.
Yeah.
He immediately took him down, went straight into mount, and won the fight by a rear naked choke. So all in all, it was this amazing emotional roller coaster for South African fans who were able to see our new rising star Dricus du Plessis make it into the top 5 of the UFC right now.
Exactly, because that's all we wanted. We need, like, for us to have a South African, for him to just like be on the card facing Darren Till alone was a big thing for us. It was a big deal. With someone where it's like, oh, finally a South African fighter is up there, and for him to win and to have like look, it wasn't the greatest win, but it was a submission with Darren Till. It's something, you know, and it's definitely, and that third round, he definitely came back, like you said. He was calmer, he took a breath, cleared his mind, he started landing more with the straight rights, and then he got that submission. Now, it's a shame with Darren's knee. I don't know when he got that injury. I don't know when it happened in the fight, like when he got compromised, but it's a shame for him. I do see his career being over now because he's just been riddled with injuries.
It's tricky. I wonder about his future. But since we're still on the topic of South African fighters, another South African made their second UFC fight, and that's Cameron Saaiman.
Well, technically his first.
Oh, technically his first. Sorry.
Because he came off. You can't contend this series.
I do.
It does count on your record.
I do. It counts on your record, but like most people don't.
Yeah.
Cameron Saaiman came up against Stephen Koslow, who was actually undefeated before this fight.
Really?
Yeah, he was 6-0.
That's even better. Oh,
That's even better. And he was able to get the spectacular finish. Sheldon, tell us a little bit about that fight.
so that fight was actually a really good one. From what I saw, it was a bit of a back and forth. Saaiman's opponent, he kept trying to just go for the takedown. He especially was really just trying to get that takedown and take it to the ground. Cameron Saaiman's just got decent. He's got really decent takedown defense, put on a good show. And then when he did get taken down, he actually just showed that he's just really versatile. There were moments where he was on his back, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is not good. And he was just able, with a burst of energy, was just able to throw the guy off with the hips, spin himself around, and get himself out from under the legs, and was just back on top mount. Complete reverse. And that was a lot of the fight. It was a lot of them on the ground just rolling around. This one moment Cameron's on top, the next moment he's on the bottom. Then they kept switching. It got a bit dicey second round. Cameron threw an illegal knee, but it was one of those illegal knees where it was just really poorly timed. Like, it was only illegal knee because as he timed the knee, his opponent was going down onto his knees.
Okay.
So it was one of those ones. He got the point deducted. Thank goodness the fight carried on. And in the third round, it was just a mistake. His opponent was up against the cage, and when he tried to get back up, he got up wrong in one of those moments. And then Saaiman just had him in the position where he could just lay into him, and he just kept going, and then he was on top on his back, and then it was just fights over. So it was literally, in terms of South Africans, for us, it was perfect. Everything went exactly how we wanted.
Exactly. For SA, this was a perfect perfect.
Our boys
UFC
just got the
event.
finishes, which was,
But you know who it wasn't
so
perfect
happy.
for?
Tell me.
It wasn't perfect for the UK. It wasn't perfect for Paddy the Baddie. Now, Paddy the Baddie,
Robbery!
he was able to, straight up.
This is
straight
straight up.
Straight up. Let's
Just
be
cut the shit,
completely
dude.
honest. He was able to squeeze that victory, but I don't believe he deserved that victory against Jared Gordon. Everywhere Jared Gordon wanted that fight to go, it went. When Jared Gordon wanted to grapple, they were grappling. When he wanted to stand up and strike, they were standing up, they were striking. And it was frustrating him. Why? Because he's Bilal Muhammad's best friend.
And they know how to annoy you. But dude, 100%. So without a doubt, third round went to Gordon. Without a doubt, that was completely his run. He wrestle fucked him and just hold control. The whole thing came down to the first round, which I thought could go either way. Personally, I gave it to Gordon. However, my whole shtick was I could definitely see it going either way, especially with that first round. But the biggest thing to me, which really made it feel like this is like a bullshit, someone paid this off, was that with the fact that it was a unanimous decision. That's the one that really annoyed me. You're telling me no one gave it to Gordon. Not one of those judges gave it to Gordon, and that just, I just found that absolutely shocking. Definitely was Paddy's toughest test to date.
Definitely.
But the main thing was I was just shocked by those judges. And then after that, dude, it seems before the Paddy fight, these judges went to smoke something because this was controversial. Paddy's fight was controversial, and then immediately going into the main card, let's talk about that with that decision. Another big controversial card story. So Jan Blachowicz versus Ankalaev, Magomed Ankalaev. First off the bat, everyone knows this wasn't meant to be a main event. This wasn't for the title. It was for the title because Yuri pulled out because of injury, vacated the belt. So these two were going for the vacant title. So straight off the bat, it was a draw. Split decision, draw, no one got the belt, which a lot of people were completely shocked about. Now, how the fight went, it was a lot of stand-up rounds 1 to 3. Jan was just doing a good job. They were both playing very technical, very passive. But Jan was just destroying him with calf kicks. He was just compromising those legs. Ankalaev was barely able to stand at one point. He swapped stances, and then Jan just kept hitting the other leg, and he was almost about to just, it was almost looked like he was about to just fall over.
Exactly.
It was crazy. And then, so obviously Ankalaev, someone spoke to him in the corner. And
Ankalaev's coach had this crazy speech where he was just completely shitting on him, saying, "What are you doing? Can you not take him down? What happened? Can you not take him down?" Like,
no, completely. And then obviously with Jan's tiredness in the championship rounds, Ankalaev definitely fourth and fifth just took it. That fifth round, he just took him down in the first 10 seconds and sat on top of him the whole round.
But can we commend the fact that Ankalaev was able to make that adjustment? The fact that he was able to discern that, okay, no, I need to switch this up, change to the ground game, get to the ground, and then be able to maintain that strong position for such a long time. And I think one of the things that really pushed it, because I believe Ankalaev must have gotten a 10-8 round at some point.
He must have.
And we actually need to go back and check the scorecards. But what I think definitely pushed it was that right at the end of that fifth, there was a point when Jan was almost belly down with one arm up, and he was just getting, he was almost straight up TKO.
Ref.
And I was convinced the ref was going to call it and it was going to be completely over. But somehow he was able to tough it out and push through. But Jan, that fight wasn't very good for his mentality, I think. I don't know if Jan struggles with the confidence or the mental aspects of being a fighter a lot more, because even after the fight, in the post-fight interview, he was saying things like he believes that Ankalaev won the fight, and Ankalaev was being super like macho about it, and like, you know, it wasn't a good look from Jan Blachowicz.
It wasn't. I think for both of them, the way they look, maybe it was just the adrenaline pumping, because a lot of people give them the free pass. It's like, you know, your adrenaline's going. But it was not a good look for either of them. You've got Jan saying this weird stuff about, it almost sounded like he was saying, give him the belt. He was just saying he just needed to just keep quiet and walk away. And then Ankalaev's team, first off, that's not how you handle that situation. Their team was looking like they were about to start throwing stuff around and getting angry, saying, no, where's our belt? Like,
Pointing at Dana White.
Like, oh, why that's our bot. No, you don't. That's not professional, you know? First of all, it's not Dana's decision. It's not anyone's decision in that octagon at the end of the fight. It was the judges.
Straight up.
Okay? And don't sit there, where's my belt? I want my belts, and almost look like you start crying.
Straight up.
It was, like, okay, my big thing, I just got to point out, is just, when it came to the cards, it was ridiculous, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, the whole thing was, everyone gave Jan 2 and 3, and everyone gave Ankalaev 4 and 5. That's the consensus, right? Everyone gave that was, and everyone's big point, especially before the decision was made. The commentators were saying it. The Twitter was all about it, which was it all came down to the first round.
Straight up.
Because obviously the other 4 rounds were just so obvious as to who was in control and who won. But then when you saw the judges' cards, every judge gave round 1 to Jan. But then 1 or 2 of them gave round 3 to Ankalaev, which is why it was a draw. And that just makes no sense to me. Like, if the whole consensus of everybody is it comes down to round 1, how is it that the judges are like, no, it came down to round 3, actually? Where do you get that from, bro? This is so weird. From that and the whole Paddy just having a full unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Dude. It's actually lucky that all the other guys didn't go to decision. They all got knockout and submission. Because I feel like if there was a lot of decisions on this card, there'd be a lot of weird shit going on.
Yeah, the judges were
It wasn't making sense.
Okay.
But damn.
And those are basically the main notable fights in the card. Just to list a couple of the other fights on the card. On the early prelims, we watched Alex Hernandez lose to Billy Quarantillo. Alex Hernandez is having a really tough time since he lost to Donald Cerrone. It's funny because he just looked like a dick and now he's just this asshole who's getting beat all the time. In the featherweight division, TJ Brown submitted Eric Silva in the 3rd round of their fight. And that was our early prelims. In the prelims, the youngest guy in the UFC right now, Raul Rosas.
It's so hard to say.
Youngest guy in the UFC right now, Raul Rosas Jr. fought Jay Perrin, and he submitted him in the 1st round.
Yeah, it's exactly what he needed.
Yeah, it was exactly what he needed, and it was crazy because there was a lot of smack talk before the fight as well. This Jay Perrin guy was saying, oh, this kid wants to be the youngest UFC champion. Well, I want to be Santa Claus. So it's super, super, super deep. Going into our heavyweight division, we had Jairzinho Rozenstriuk beating Chris Daukaus.
Just the cow. That one's a little bit sad, dude. Look, shout out to Rozenstriuk because I definitely think he was just a more seasoned fighter. But I don't know, dude. I'm not a fan of the cop, the cop Daukaus, but I did want good things for him because he came in like a 5-fight win streak, dude. He came in great.
Straight up.
So it's a shame. I don't see him lasting on. And look, if he's got popularity with the fans, they might keep him, but that's like 4 losses in a row or something, dude. I don't see him staying on the card. And his brother also is on a 3-fight losing streak. Yeah. That's not good for the family.
You can't be a loser in the UFC.
You can't, dude. It's just unfortunately how it goes. But carry on, my man.
Speaking of previous losers who have come back, Edman Shabazyan has finally gotten himself back into the win column. He beat somebody by the names of Dakcha Lungiambula. I wonder if he's still training with Edman Shabazyan.
No idea.
Very, very, very interesting coach, that one. Then another middleweight division fight. We had Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley. And Chris Curtis actually knocked out Joaquin Buckley in the 2nd round.
Crazy, man.
Wow. It is crazy how the turntables. One notable fight, or the last notable fight for us to talk about, is Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Alex Morono. As Santiago Ponzinibbio was previously on a 7-fight win streak, and he got a horrible staph infection. He came up against Alex Morono, and he ended up knocking him out in the 3rd round after 2 rounds where he was essentially losing the fight. Yeah. So it was a great comeback victory.
Morono was definitely up on the cards, but also Morono was a short like you said, he came off the couch. Like even Dana went in and like said thanks, bro, and shook his hand and shook the hand of the team to say I appreciate yours just coming in short notice like that. It's not easy.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And then our last kind of fight on the main card for us to speak about is Bryce Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria.
Yeah.
Sheldon, take us straight into that one.
Well, that one was actually a big, interesting fight because both of them grapplers. and both of them on a streak, both of them not looking for a loss. Ilia Topuria was on like a 10-fight win streak. He's won 6 in the UFC. Bryce Mitchell as well, I think on a 4-fight win streak, something like that. Bryce Mitchell, big into grappling, big jiu-jitsu. He recently got like a twister. He submitted someone with the twister, which is a big thing for him. But unfortunately, hey man, Topuria just was too strong. He just threw him around. He literally just, it was his raw physical power that he just used to just dominate him. Every time Bryce Mitchell tried to take him down, his defense was too good. And when he did take him down, Ilia just had the strength to get out of it. And then he was just landing too many hits. And yeah.
And right when he got that submission, he literally just muscled him down with that hip toss, grabbed that submission and secured it.
Completely, dude.
Against a guy who's got really good ground game in Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was UFC 282.
Yeah.
Give us a like and subscribe and tell us what you thought about the fights in the comments.
It was an interesting one.
It was a dope one.
Woo!